Real news. True, honest, and not fake news.
The big story of the past couple days is the hashtag release the memo. We finally got the memo released that that FISA memo that people have all been hyping up and wondering about. And the main bombshells of it are kind of stuff we've already known. First bit is that McCabe confirmed, this was the former FBI director, confirmed that the Golden Showergate dossier was needed to get a FISA warrant to spy on Donald J. Trump. And Christopher Steele, the guy who made this dossier that was paid by the Clinton campaign, was desperate to prevent Trump from winning, according to this memo. And, obviously showing a political bias here in the FBI. And yet the Democrats say that McCabe was fired because Trump said some mean tweets about him 6 months ago. But all this revelation is, it's not why he fired him. I think the memo, it's not really that much because, like I said, we've kind of already speculated this. We've known this for a while. Anybody that's watched anything that isn't CNN would have known this. And it's probably got, it's definitely got some people like heightened up. They were like, the Democrats were saying like this has national security implications, going to harm national security. There's nothing in here to harm national security. It's that same sort of BS excuse they always give for why something can't get declassified. I'm going to go to Mikey first. What do you think? And can you speak more in 5 seconds this time?
Well, yeah, I mean, you pretty much covered it. And it's not unexpectable. Like, I expected exactly what was going to come out in it. And I just think, like I said, it's not surprising.
Yeah.
I didn't read completely everything that was released, but it's definitely like very fit. Like, I don't know, it doesn't surprise me anymore that they had to create a fake document, a fake dossier, just so they can have like Trump be spied on and so, like,
yeah,
it's just what you would think, what you think you would see in like a movie, about politics, and it's just
like House of Cards level crap.
It's true, and it's just unsurprising these days.
Yeah, because it's like, could they have at least thought of something that was actually kind of convincing? I mean, it's like they think Trump hired prostitutes while he was in Russia to pee on his hotel bed. Are you kidding me? What do you think of this, Alex? I know you're going to have an interesting response.
All right, so it was like red pilling to the whole nation, I think, because a lot of these people, they're like, oh, this is a conspiracy. Now this comes out, and it kind of shows that, this wasn't just like a right-wing conspiracy theory. This is actually true.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't really anything particularly new, but then again, I watch Alex Jones, so not many people listen to that. But, first, Alex Jones was right again, at the very least.
Yeah.
And another thing that you kind of learn from this, it's just, that like this should go, and if there was any law and justice in America, this would go and end the whole Russia investigation, because anything, like the whole FISA memo that caused it would be like fruit from the poison tree. You shouldn't even be allowed to go and continue this. The whole investigation should be ended effective immediately. And there should be warrants placed out for Hillary Rodham Clinton, Barack Hussein Obama, and Steele, Mueller, and everyone who is involved with it. They should be indicted. They should be brought before a grand jury, and they should be sent to jail, if not Guantanamo Bay. Because this is treason. There's no two ways about this. This is actually treason. They're going to say Trump is treason. No, this is worse than Watergate. And now there's, the thing with Watergate, the only thing that kept Nixon out of going to jail was because the president after him gave a pardon. I don't think if Trump had any sense, he would not give Obama a pardon. He would be sent to jail effective as soon as we get this investigation done. This was clearly political bias. They were wiretapping his equipment. This is worse than Watergate, and I don't know why people are making up, oh, this isn't that big of a deal. No. Everyone who's saying that, all the news stations, they should be investigated for this sort of stuff. This is not it shouldn't even be political. You broke the law. You seriously violated the Constitution. You violated the Fourth Amendment, unlawful search and seizure.
Yeah.
You had people approve of the document off of the Yahoo News article which was based on the same guy who's investigating it. That's a clear conflict of interest, and
Yeah.
they knew this. They knew this going into it. The FISA court, one, should be dismantled effective immediately as well. There should be no debate about this. This should be ended, and everyone involved should be indicted, and they should be charged with high treason and basically, what's that one law? Like trying to go and start a civil war. So that's essentially what they were doing. And they know this. Everyone knows this. If you had any 2 cents, you can go and put 2 and 2 together. They said this was an insurance policy against Trump. Well,
Yeah.
you can tell if you have any sort of reading comprehension, this is an insurance policy against Trump means they're going to try to get Trump out of office with this, and they're going to try to effectively, tarnish a good man's reputation. And that, I feel, is beyond disgusting. This is beyond, this is the only real deplorable thing. Here he says, oh, you guys are basketball deplorables. No. Her, Comey, Mueller, those people, Barack Obama, they're the deplorable ones. They're trying to go and subvert our republic.
Yeah, I know.
Lock 'em up.
Yeah, lock them up. Yes, hashtag lock them up. Yeah, because that's what was interesting. It was like that Yahoo news article that you mentioned was like they basically planted that, and it was like, oh, they use that as they're giving Yahoo News credibility to justify this basically, and they were also saying in that memo that they knew the political backings and intentions of this dossier. They knew the Clinton campaign funded. They knew all this stuff. They knew Steele was desperate to get Trump. To resist Trump and not have him become president, and yet they went ahead and did all this. There's obviously corruption at the FBI, and it needs to be held accountable. Now, how do you do that? It's tricky. I mean, there's a lot of people you can fire, and Trump has been doing that. You have morally superior, pretentious Comey still tweeting about this stuff, acting like he's the one that's in the moral right here. He's already been fired, thankfully, but, it shows like these guys are not going to stop. That's the thing.
Oh, you have to take action against Comey. Yeah, he has to be locked up. He shouldn't be free to go and be tweeting. He was complicit in high treason against violating the Fourth Amendment, trying to go and essentially destroy a president, his credibility. That's high treason. That's violation of Fourth Amendment. And it was all for a political gain of Hillary Clinton. She should be held accountable for this. She hasn't been tweeting right now. She should be held accountable. She should be sent to prison for this. Then you can look into the whole Seth Richards thing. I feel like that, there wasn't enough investigation into that. I feel like there was enough to already investigate before this whole thing broke out. I think now, if Jeff Sessions had, any sort of, round things on the end of his stick, he would go and prosecute Hillary.
Yeah.
Apparently he doesn't. He's refused to so far.
Yeah, he's been a big disappointment. He's been soft on everything. Soft on draining the swamp, soft on Hillary, soft on the FBI, soft on the Russia investigation. Because actually Trump just sent out an email where it's actually a different one where he asked you he has these polls where he asks you how's Trump doing in office? Is he doing good, bad, ugly, tremendous? I always say tremendous because it is. But this time he sent out one saying how would you rate all his cabinet people? And I gave Jeff Sessions the bad rating because this isn't good. So I wonder if Trump's thinking about switching people around his cabinet, because that was a very unique poll we set out. He hasn't sent that out before, so that was different. And I hope he does something about it. Mikey, do you have anything to add to this?
No, really. I don't. I agree with you. I have to answer that poll then too, because I really don't like Jeff Sessions, but the rest of his cabinet's not really too bad for the moment.
Yeah, I like his cabinet. It's been going great.
Jeff Sessions, I really don't like at all.
Yeah, I feel you.
Well, see, another thing with Jeff Sessions too is he's going after marijuana, which why is he doing that now? I'm not very much a fan of some of the stuff with marijuana. I feel like it's specifically targeting poor people and keeping them within this area, where they can't really advance. They just want to smoke weed all day. But, in all honesty, let the states decide. I think we should go and repeal the Federal Drug Act that scheduled all these drugs. And we need to go and take a hard look. Heroin, that should be illegal. Meth should be illegal, but mushrooms, LSD, a DMT. I don't think we should have those illegal. but Jeff Sessions wants to go and indict people for smoking a doobie, but he doesn't want to indict Hillary Clinton for possibly murdering someone, for trying to go and subvert the election, for doing all for destroying, for making Haiti and even putting it into the S-hole. They don't want to have her accountable for that, but they want to go and hurt someone who likes to go and smoke a plant.
Yeah, I'm for legalizing everything. So
You libertarian, you.
yeah. So yeah, I really have a problem with Jeff Sessions, and there's much more. Even if I would come to I'd meet in the middle on that, and I would say probably okay to keep heroin illegal and stuff. But you're right. Jeff Sessions definitely has many more things he could be focusing on that's not marijuana, and yeah, he should just lock Hillary Clinton
Stop getting
up.
distracted, Mikey.
They were taking pictures of us before. That's why.
They love us.
Yeah.
Well, there's
We're
people
famous.
out there.
Yeah, we have fans.
Yeah, we have fans. They have stormed the hub, and they're all it's like a Justin Bieber concert. They're all banging on the glass. They are excited to see us. Yeah,
Well,
you hear that?
Well, no. Well, no. Here's kind of my thoughts on the whole marijuana thing. Marijuana. I don't know how I feel about this. Because heroin, that's a very destructive drug. People just aren't. I can't trust people enough to go and use it. The majority of people. What I think might work is if you go to a doctor, and then if you're you're making money, you're a productive member of society, then you can go and ask for a permission, a permit to purchase for recreational use.
Mm-hmm.
I think you should be able to go and do that for any drug, but they'd have to give you that, and there'd be very strict criteria. Let's say you're a very, if you're a really successful guy, I don't think, even letting you smoke marijuana, even letting you do a little bit of cocaine, I don't think that's going to really harm you, because a lot of successful people do that.
Yeah, and
the problem is,
if
when
these
you get
drugs are made in a lab, they're also much safer than anything you'll buy on the street. So that
well,
would
no,
also be another.
that's the thing. I feel that would be a simple solution. You could even do this with alcohol, I think, because that'd stop a lot of these alcoholics. But then my concern with that, I'm not a big fan of government regulation, but at least for the more serious drugs like heroin, I think you should be able, and I know this is going to be a controversial opinion, I don't think it should be legal for everyone. I think it should be like machine guns, where only, there'd be a small amount of people who can use them. I think there might be some people who could, who might be able to be fine with it if you're a very rich person, because the rich people aren't going to be the ones who mug you in the street because they need to go and make heroin money. Mm-hmm. And if you start having negative, you start losing lots of money, you have all this happens, they could revoke your right to go and they could revoke your drug user permit.
Yeah, I can see that, but if it's legal, if it would be legal for everybody, then it also would take it off the street for the most part. You could just go to your if you could just go to your CVS, and as long as you're over 18, buy some heroin, then you wouldn't get mugged on the street by someone selling it on the street, because the
value is gone.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the most anti-drug, anti-alcohol person you ever meet, but
I'm anti-drug too. I've never done anything but alcohol.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm kind of I've gone back and forth on it, because while principally I feel like legalizing drugs is fine because you can do whatever you want to your body, I'm all for that. But at the same time, there are the externalities that come with it. If you get it's like drunk driving, but high driving. Is that really I don't know how back legalization, if that stuff can happen. I know that's kind of a strange argument to make, because it's
I understand.
you have a gun, but I don't like making comparisons, because everybody loves to make comparisons it's alcohol is we have alcohol legal and that's worse. I'm like, well, I'm not.
No, it's not. No.
Yeah, I don't think it's worse, but but that's what people argue. And I'm like, well, they're not comparable. Yeah. That's my point. Is that
it's not really comparable, but I don't know. I've never smoked weed, but I think I've seen studies and I've read everything from both sides, and I think alcohol could be a more dangerous thing than weed in many cases. But with other drugs, definitely not.
Well, see, my concern with marijuana, it specifically driving, I think that's probably one of the major problems. There's been linked to, if you go and smoke marijuana, there's a high relation between that, especially if you do it young, once you're an adult, it's not a big deal. But if you start like doing that young, there's like at least a correlation between that and schizophrenia and other mental illness.
Yeah,
there should definitely be an age limit if anything is ever legalized. Like
doing
18 or 21.
Yeah, doing anything to a developing brain is bad.
Yeah.
And that's why, but now sex changes can happen at age like 4. It's like, see, that's the problem is you're trying to convince these, sides like that to now, be rational about, like drugs, and it's like they will let you cut off your meow meow or your gentleman sausage.
Cut off the hole.
Yeah, you can't cut that off.
Dude, well, what do they? Okay, they sew it up. They sew. I don't know.
Cut off the little thing on top, but you can't cut off the whole.
Maybe you can.
Cut the cherry on top. No, you can't cut. That's physically impossible. That's logically impossible. You can't cut off the whole.
I'm screwing with you. Continue.
No, but here's the thing. At least to begin with, I think if we have a system where you can get a permit to use recreationally, and at least start out with marijuana. And then have the doctor, you'd have like periodic checkups, or they'd have some sort of, even you could have a machine learning take place with this, and you're going to have it you're going to sense, let's say you're going to start it, going to look at your finances and whatnot, and then you end up if you end up getting a divorce right after that, they're going to take you off immediately because hey, this probably caused that, or they see you starting to get really into debt, they start seeing you on a negative decline, and they do it for a couple years like that, then you'd be more free if you can use it responsibly.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah, for beginning legalization, that would definitely make some sense.
Well, yeah, my problem with this sort of issue is that when you have a permit to use, then you would end up having people abuse. You could have doctors just pushing it, and that's why I think there would have to be some objective criteria. And I think we could utilize machine learning for this, because they could go and pick up the negative trend, and it would automatically kick you off. And then you'd have to there'd be certain limits. Maybe you'd have to it can go and look at your credit score. They could go and make sure that you're employed, because I don't think people who are unemployed should be smoking marijuana. I don't even think people who are unemployed should be drinking, to be honest with you.
I think they shouldn't be, but I don't think you should legally enforce that because they could Yeah, I don't think
it depends. It shouldn't be legally enforced, because if you just lost your job and you're still actively looking and you just want to have a beer a few times, there's a line. If you become an extreme alcoholic and you're unemployed, then that's bad. But you can't just say since you can't monitor everybody, you can't make that a law, because then
well, what I would do to fix that is to say, if you go on welfare, you cannot be doing drugs and alcohol. Then that way, that solves any sort of...
understandable,
Yeah, because then you can... Because people, when they lose their job, they're either going to look for a job or they're going to go on welfare.
Yeah.
And if you're going to go on welfare, you shouldn't have be doing drugs or alcohol. That solves that problem,
Makes sense, yeah.
Okay. Well,
We're
yeah, I
solving
can
things
agree with
live.
that. For alcohol, I can agree with that. Now, for marijuana, I'd be more strongly against. I could still see that, but my thing is, I know a lot of people. This is all sort of it's not anything sort of in grounded statistics. But, it kind of makes sense. I've known people, and they were all fine, and they started smoking marijuana a lot, and they end up losing their jobs because they just rather get, high all day. And then, I had this one guy end up stealing, stealing things from me. And this is just for marijuana. My concern with, the higher drugs, like heroin, which is why you need to go and have this permit to use in my situation, in my, system, would be because once you're poor, it's marijuana doesn't really it's not even really addictive. But once you get to heroin, that's you have withdrawal symptoms. People will mug people for money. It's happened before. They will enter into prostitution. They will do very disgusting things for another hit. Then what happens is you end up especially when you have certain populations, you have increasing single motherhood. And another thing with especially for not so much with marijuana, but for for the other harder drugs like heroin and cocaine, would be if you're that would be part of the algorithm. It goes be a little checkbox, pregnant or not, and when you go to your doctor for pregnancy, if you are on heroin, if you have a permit to use heroin, it would go and automatically kick you off that.
I was just curious, Alex, what do you think about like in PA now, since medical marijuana is pretty much legalized, they have it so if you're on it or able to get it, you're not allowed to own a gun anymore. What do you think about that? I'm just curious because I don't agree with it. I think you should still be allowed to use a gun as long as like you're responsible and you do them at separate times. And it's not recreational marijuana; it's medical. So I think you should still be allowed, and you shouldn't lose your Second Amendment. But what do you think?
Well, I don't think they should take your Second Amendment away unless, like, the only reason I think they should take your Second Amendment away is if you have a serious, like, you know, you're schizophrenic, like,
mental illness.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
mentally, you know, disabled, or you've had another situation involved where you were like, you know, you were threatening with a gun or another dangerous weapon, or you're like a child molester. Anything other than that, I don't think they should take away your Second Amendment. And I feel like this is a subversive attempt at gun control.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the federal law needs to be changed because, you know, even right now, if you like smoke marijuana and you fill out a form 4473, you would end up. It asks you, are you like using any? Are you like an addict to, or do you use any like federally legal substances or something along the lines of that?
Yeah. TLDR.
So
happiness is a warm gun.
What did Wagner do?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
What did Wagner do?
Yeah.
Oh, Scott Wagner. I remember when he came here, he wasn't exactly very pro-Trump.
I thought he was. Wasn't he like the guy who used to be a garbage dude?
I don't know. I know Bobby Lawrence is extremely pro-Trump. I love Bobby.
Well, I thought he was the one that who was that one kid who kind of looked like Baker? You know who I'm talking about.
I don't.
Dude, he was in the Full Moods party until like he got kicked or like he left the group me a couple weeks ago.
Wait, I thought you were talking about somebody that was running for governor.
No, the guy. I'm just asking who's that kid?
Wait, okay, got left the group me a few weeks ago. Who was that? Oh, Vince?
No, the Full
Alex
Moods
knows
party
Vince.
group me.
I don't know who you talk. I'm sorry, man. I don't know.
Glasses.
Oh,
Dom. Yeah, I think he was like helping with Wagner's campaign.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he's helping with Scott Wagner's campaign. Yeah, sorry, I didn't.
I mean, anyone is better than Tom Wolf.
Oh yeah.
So
I would take him.
I'd definitely
I
take
haven't really
him.
seen what he's been doing really cocky. I mean.
Well, like I say, he's not very pro-Trump.
Eh.
He's kind of like a John Kasich. He's a little. I mean, as a speaker, the problem is when he was speaking here, like it's kind of boring. And I was just like,
John Kasich is really boring too.
Yeah, John Kasich is like,
I liked him, but he was
eat my taco, my pancakes.
Ted Cruz was just funny.
Okay.
Made fun of when he had that piece of food on his lip. The one debate, and
I'm coming for the delegates, Donald.
On Ted Cruz, if Trump didn't run, I probably would have voted for Ted Cruz.
I would have been I was a Rand Paul supporter until he dropped out.
Yeah.
I would have definitely been.
I don't know. Like
I was
Rand
for
Paul,
Daddy from day one. Oh, love that.
I was half and half because as soon as Trump announced his running, you can find my Facebook post and I wrote Trump 2016.
Yes.
Right away.
Oh, if I did that, I would have lost all my friends. I don't have Facebook, but if I did and I had friends, which I don't, I would have lost them all.
Why don't you get Facebook?
Because it's controlled by Zuckerberg, who harvests your information, steals. Well, he doesn't really steal, but he sells it.
Your information anyways. Dude, they already know who you are.
They do.
They use a cell phone. They can find all your stuff out.
Yeah.
Use Google Chrome. You have a Mac.
No, I use Safari. I use Safari.
Yeah, they have that. They have your information on there. Sorry to tell you, but they do.
This is so much better.
Somehow, some ways. Anyway,
we got off topic.
I love when we go off topic.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Is this on? Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Yeah, we've been live.
I didn't know
that. So the only last thing we have to talk about is Trump's State of the Union. But like I said, I'm going to say one more time, please, if anybody wants to call in, love to have you call in. Why is that screen flickering? Yeah, fight us. Fight us live on air. Because we had a call last week, and that was a lot of fun. And we had a little problem with the audio, like talking to them, but we fixed that now because I figured out how to fix that. And so if you call in, we can have a live conversation. It works perfectly. Like I said, call us in at 814-865-9577. Please call us in.
Make sure it's working.
It should be.
Okay.
That it's working, I think. But if it's not working, just use. If you're listening, go on Twitter and use the hashtag #RealNewsPSU, all one word. Hashtag #RealNewsPSU, and say hi, I'm listening, or something, or give a comment. Or if the phone's not working, say so. I'll check the hashtag during and after the show.
Yeah, tweet at us.
Yeah, tweet at us. We'd love to hear you. I should make a Twitter and a Facebook.
We should.
I kind of wonder who that guy was last time. Like, that was pretty interesting.
That was interesting. He was defending
very
cuckoldry. I crap you not.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was
I mean,
funny. And then he
was
said we were espousing the 14-point. Oh no, we're so sad. He said we were coming close to espousing the 14 points.
The 14 points, is that the thing with, like, what was it, President Wilson after, like, World War I?
What?
No, there was actually, maybe it's the 21 points.
And he was saying the 14 words.
Yeah, that's what he was thinking of.
It was so silly. We didn't even talk about race. Like, everybody just has to inject race in everything, even when it doesn't matter. But anyway, President Trump gave a State of the Union address on Tuesday, his first ever State of the Union address, and it was wonderful. He was a little shocked me with his unifying tone that he had during it, but that's sort of expected with a State of the Union address because you're addressing the whole union. This is the one that everybody tunes into and talks about. And he started off basically by talking about the amazing economic growth that has happened under his presidency. Of course, the Democrats are going to say, this was all Obama. Well, not really, because just, he's cut a lot of regulations, put a lot of new rules in place. There's been rising wages, millions of new jobs, record low unemployment, lowest black and Hispanic unemployment, stock market's at record high. And when he said the part about the lowest black and Hispanic unemployment, if you were watching the footage, it cut right to the Congressional Black Caucus, and none of them clapped except for one guy. He was sitting there clapping, and he's like looking around like, oh, guess I'm the only one.
They weren't letting you clap. They had, what was it, Chucky Schumer. He was Chucky Schumer. He was going over there, and he was like saying, "Oh, don't clap." It was like reverse Jeb Bush.
I was gonna say it was like it was the opposite what Jeb Bush would say. Please clap.
And they
God,
had,
that was so sad.
Who was it? Joe Manchin. I mean, the guy, like, he's probably like the most like conservative Democrat over here. He's like actually trying to go and stand up. And then I think it was like Nancy Pelosi gets over there. Oh, I'm Nancy Pelosi. You can't stand up. You can't stand up. Sit down, Mr. Julian. And she kind of forced him to sit down.
Did you see her face? It's like, that's like a meme now for like she looked like she's about to like crap her pants with brown stain of diarrhea.
Nasty woman.
Nasty woman.
Yeah, most Democratic women are nasty women.
No. Hashtag not all Democratic women.
Right.
Only the hot ones are nice, but all the other ones nasty.
No, she is. Dude, not all women are nasty. There's some very good ones. There's a lot of very good ones.
Yeah, but we're talking about Democratic women.
Yeah,
this is different.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, this one, this being, if you're inside, like, the Democrat, like, a level of, like, governor or, like, whatever the heck she is, or senator, congressperson, like, she's probably, anyone, like, just to get into there, good Lord knows what you have to do. Like, even Bill Clinton, well, who's the Bill Clinton?
Yeah, even Bill Clinton wouldn't explore that canary's mine.
Well, no, who is that, like, one person, Robert Byrd, he said, oh, yeah, to be in a Democrat Party, you have to be in the Klan. Like, and good Lord knows what you have to go and do now.
Oh, God.
Probably some, like, spirit cooking stuff, according to the Podesta email.
Yeah, you have to probably, like, give them your own blood, like, donate it to the Democratic Party and make a pledge to never vote for anything Grommel Grump does. Yeah, Robert Byrd's the guy, if you all forget, was the meme of Hillary Clinton kissing him, and he's a Klansman. Oh, that was spicy. Oh, I let's just say I know a person that put that poster up at Penn State. That was pretty funny, spreading the memes. But Trump, continue.
Oh, no, but see, that's just what's going on, like, that's what we know right now. Like, honestly, I think they're probably working with the Communist Party at this point. Like, they already have who's that guy, Sanders, who's an open socialist.
Yeah.
How many of them are closet socialists? How many of them are, like, working with diverse democracy? We already know what happened after that whole, that whole memo. Good Lord knows what they're doing right now that we haven't found yet.
Oh,
it's like digging for gold, like, in a mine, you go and, like, start digging, you might find, like, diamonds.
Yeah. You'd be surprised you'd find these people's closets. Like that Adam Schiff guy, Jesus, he is the creepiest, meanest, nastiest looking guy I've ever seen. Like those little bug eyes, like ooh, staring at you, like he's about to like murder you. And all he talks about is Russia, 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 Russia. And he is like obsessed with tearing down Trump with Russia. The guy has issues. Like, you know, there's always those partisan quips you can make of like, oh, the other side is all evil and crazy. I don't try to do that. I try to be fair and to look at it objectively. But he is one of the guys that I cannot look at and say he's perfectly a normal person. There's something wrong with that guy. Alex Jones has a funny rant when he goes off on him because he just starts cursing at him.
Who was that other candy? Not the drooling one, but the other one.
Oh.
He like ended up like killing a woman. He
yeah.
Her to the water and then like left her there.
Yeah.
And then he was still a senator. Is he still there today?
Yeah.
No, I think he's dead.
Oh.
I think that was Robert Kennedy. Robert Kennedy who no, sorry, not Robert Kennedy. That was the Eric Kennedy. They're making a movie about it. Jim?
Like, how does he still,
Kennedy,
like, it's the Democrat Party, you know, if that happened to the Republican Party, you know, I'd hope that they would go, we can't do this.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
they did
If
that
it was a
with-
Republican, they'd be crucified.
Oh, yeah, but they call themselves a party of feminists, but they had someone who, like, murdered a woman in there.
Ted
They
Kennedy.
had, like, who was it, Al Franken, who was, like, sexually harassing women in photographs. Bill Clinton, who was
Is a
doing more than
rapist.
just harassment. Yeah, he was, I don't even know what you would call it, just his relationship he has with his intern. You know, that's just not a regular, you know, adult relationship. That goes beyond it. There's a certain level of power. You know, if this was in a workplace, he would have been sued for sexual, like, that's like a form of abuse because they're above you. That, you know, I wouldn't say it's like rape, but that'd be some form of like sexual assault, at least with the one that's confirmed.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he has all these other non-confirmed ones. They're talking about that he has a son with like a black woman.
Yeah.
And they ought to go and get. I do wonder what would happen if they gave him a paternity test and actually found that out to be Bill Clinton. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, yeah.
But-
Well, all
Yeah.
I'll say is anybody, if you're going to investigate the Clintons, cancel your gym membership. Do not go back to the gym. Do not go there because we all know that every time somebody starts getting in deep with the Clintons, you know, trying to find out the real truth here, just magically, they'll be lifting weights and just that barbell. I don't know how it happens, but it just falls and it hits their neck and then they just die. I don't know why that happened, but it just did. And then you have Seth Rich who just got robbed. I mean, you got to be careful around them. I'm not saying they're whacking people. It's not House of Cards stuff, but it's possible. It's really weird. But I'll run down the other things from the State of the Union to get back on topic, but we went beautifully off topic, which is fine. So this will give us more stuff to go off topic on. Trump talked about the biggest tax cuts in history, which was great. We all love that. Hope there's actually a little more tax cuts. He also talked about which was actually surprised me because I don't think he's talked about this before. He said in 2018 it'd be a top priority of lowering extremely high prescription drug prices. That's really good because drug prices are insane. He also talked about these are the two big things I think are expected in 2018. One, which is infrastructure. He's calling for a $1.5 trillion bill to make, fix the roads, fix the bridges, fix the airports, because they literally are falling apart. You go to Philadelphia Airport, it's a dump. It's a disgrace. And he hopes to shorten build times. Let's say it takes 2 years, it's going to be 1 year or 2 years. He wants to cut it down big time so things get done quickly because it takes so long for these things to get permits. So like at my house, there's a simple little stretch of road where they need to make a bridge. It took them 20 years to put this 15-foot long road. It's a total disgrace. And lastly, he's going to touch on immigration, which he has a 4-pillar immigration reform bill that he presented, which is extremely generous, and the Democrats should be happy for it, but they're not going to go along with it. So that's what's the interesting 4D chess here is going to be. The 4 pillars are: 1, a path to citizenship for the 1.8 million DACA/Dreamers over a 12-period time. They'd be sent to the back of the line and then sort of work their way in to get path to citizenship. Number 2, a border security, which is a wall. We all love our wall, and it's going to get built. More Border Patrol agents, end of catch and release, and all other loopholes. Number 3, an overall just system reform, ending visas, the visa lottery, ending the starting and enforcing a merit-based immigration system. And then number 4, focusing on the nuclear family by ending chain migration, limiting the migration and sort of visa system. I think and visa system to spouses and minor children. Then also a few other things, like he mentioned, like keeping Guantanamo Bay open. It was a overall less braggadocious speech, because the critics always say he loves to brag. But overall, I think it was a good speech. Very well done, very well presented, very professional, no mistakes. And the immigration bill, I think, is perfect because if it gets passed, it's great. It's the best we're probably going to get. And if it doesn't get passed, that's great because the Democrats look bad and they might have to fold on their one issue, DACA, which, that's all they have to run on in 2018. They don't have anything except anti-Trump hysteria. What are they going to do? What are they going to, they don't have any accomplishments to go for. And that's always hard when you're not the party in power. You don't have the presidency. You don't have the houses. You don't have anything practically. I understand that. But they're not going to go anywhere with anti-Trump, rhetoric. It's just not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, there's not really. You pretty much covered it all. I watched. I actually didn't see the State of the Union when it was on live, but I saw. I know, lock me up.
Lock him up.
But I watched all the
the highlights.
Yeah, all the highlights and stuff, and I read about it, and yeah, it was pretty great. I think it was hilarious watching a few of the Democrats like they were getting ready to stand up and like clap at certain parts, and they look around and they see none of the other Democrats are, so their party just doesn't let them stand up and they just stay sitting. And then one guy like left in the middle of one of Trump's speeches,
and then there's a guy
playing
Candy Crush.
Candy Crush, yeah.
During the freaking speech. I mean, how rude! Like, I'm annoyed when people use phones, like in general, like when you're talking, but like when you do it during a speech,
that's
to the nation. That shows you don't care.
Purpose. They did it because they wanted to show they don't care, and I don't know why. They're not going to get reelected.
I hope not.
They shouldn't. Like, even like the smart Democrats, they're going to be like, well, like they're not going to like that. They're not gonna. They're going to think that looks bad for Democrats.
Bad optics.
And, yeah.
Did you see the guy that ran out at the end when they were chanting USA?
Yeah.
He's just like, oh, can't stay for this part. Got to book it. It's just, it looks so bad. Like, and you see, like, I think it was Joy Reid that was like complaining about how Trump used family and God in his speech. How dare he? The ACLU was complaining that he used America too much. How dare he? Use these wonderful unifying words. First, he complained doesn't unify enough. He's divisive. His rhetoric. And then when he does do something unifying, it's like, well, we don't like it because America sucks. It's like, you can't make him happy. And I'm not trying to, but it's like, they're shooting themselves in the foot, people. I mean, like, I want both parties to be very good because that's very competitive and that should bring out the best, solutions for America, but you're not going to get that with this. Do you have a word, Alex?
Oh, yeah. So, that whole thing, I think he did very good. I was not a big fan of some of his concessions he made with the DACA people. I do not see, like, just allowing all these people to enter the country at once. It was like 3.8. It was like 1.8.
It's 1.8. He tripled it because they usually only were going to do for like 800,000. Trump said, ha, I got you. I'll triple it to 1.8 million.
No, heck no. I do not think that's a good idea for America. We do not want that to happen because I bet, what was it, like 90-some% or like 70-some% will go right to the Democrats. That's potential to go and flip big cities like, big states like Texas.
They don't get the right to vote, do they? They're not technically citizens.
If they're given the path to citizenship, they could begin the right to vote, but they're very spread out across the country. There's they're not all in like one state. Like, that's a big misconception. Like, we have dreamers like literally here.
Do we have any data on that?
There is data. I remember.
With me, but.
Yeah, I don't have it with, but Andrew, when we were at the meeting, was talking about it. And see, here's this problem. Trump, I think, very well knew going into this he was not going to get DACA. He wasn't going to get that. So he smartly thought, I'll give them nothing so I can get something. And he has a strategy. That's a strategy he uses. Because you're not going to deport the DACA people. You aren't. These people, I'm not trying to sound like a Democrat here, but it is what happened. Most of them came involuntary. Their parents dragged them here as they were children, and they're fully integrated in America. They're basically Americans, but they don't have citizenship. And as a principle, I know that's not, a good idea to just give it to them, which is why my proposition is you tax them so that they pay for the wall. I mean, then if they
that's a good thing.
I think awesome.
That's a good idea.
I think it's perfect because if they really want to be citizens of the country and stop the problem, which is illegal immigration, they would be contributing to that. If they don't want to, fine, go back. Because the alternative, this is where I got to get away from principle and get pragmatic here. The alternative is no deal. Because this is the Democrats are going to block us on this so that we get no
I
wall.
think we lost Alex.
Did we lose Alex? Alex, did you die? Alex, you still there?
No, I heard it hang up, and then the red blinking light stopped.
Yeah, it crackled. I was just in the middle of that passionate little
I wonder if his phone died.
Oh, it could have.
Sounded like it.
Oh no. Oh, Alex, if you can call back, please do. But cause I was just in the middle of that, and I lost track. How dare your phone break, Alex? I'm kidding. But what I was trying to say was basically is that these people are fully integrated. Trump's not gonna give this up. The alternative is nothing happens, and that means illegal immigrants keep coming over the border. They keep coming over the border, and we get more of them. We have to compromise people because we're giving up the best. This is the best option. We're giving up people that are actually working for us. Of course, you deport criminals and any stuff like that, and
I completely agree.
Yeah,
and I don't want to deport the rest of the DACA people who aren't criminals. Oh,
I think we got Alex back.
Alex, you here?
Alex, hello, Alex, you there?
Well, anyway, yeah. So I don't want to deport the majority of those people who are like working for us and stuff, and it's mainly because they didn't have a choice in coming here. They were kids, and basically, like, if your dad robbed a bank with you in the car and then drove off with you in the car, do you think we should lock you up with him?
There he is. I think we're back, Alex. Sorry, this has been a day full of technical fun.
Did someone call or something?
No, your call just went.
Yeah,
just
your call
stopped.
just dropped.
Yeah. Yeah, we were just TLDR. Basically, I just said there's no good alternative to like DACA. If we don't compromise, we're gonna get more illegal immigration. And Mikey, can you just repeat everything you just said?
I was just basically agreeing with you on how.
I'm putting my Bluetooth thing back on. I'm kind of so long.
You having fun there, Alex?
I don't know. I ended up picking up, so I thought maybe my Bluetooth was turning off.
Alex, the interrupter.
But no, here's the thing with the DACA. If we were in Mexico, like, let's just say that there's all these people in Mexico, you want to look at their immigration policies? I think we should adopt their immigration policies, actually. I think they're a very progressive policies. They don't allow people who are born in their country to become citizens unless it's like they're born to citizens. I think that's a good first step. There's no other first world country. Even like third world countries don't have like this sort of like liberal immigration policy.
Oh yeah, but we're in a unique bind with this one because we have the 14th Amendment that gives anybody born here citizenship.
Yeah.
But
So they
these
try to
people
bring.
aren't even born here. They were born in another country. And
Yeah.
took them over.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
know.
not even the same thing. So
But-
I think we can absolutely do something with this.
I don't think we should. When they were what I was getting at before you interrupted me, Alex, was like if you were a young kid and like you were like 6 years old and you were in your dad's car and he decides to rob a bank with you in the car and then come back out and drive off with you, do you think you should get in trouble too? Or like when you're 18, you should get in trouble for that crime that you had nothing to do with, but you were there along with it, which is technically an
You'll be
accomplice.
arrested as an accessory to whatever.
But you wouldn't. No, I don't
Well, if
think
you were
you would. or
18,
should.
you would.
Well, I
It's-
said
it's-
yeah, but these kids that were brought over here in DACA, they were under 18 when they were brought here. They had no choice. Their parents just decided to break the law, and we should definitely kick them out. Or
Bye.
yeah, but like the kids who grew up here and they made it this long and they were here the whole time, they're used to it here. And if they're working or if they were good at school, as long as they're not criminals, I think we should just keep them.
Yeah.
If they're being
I don't think-
productive to society and the
'Cause
economy.
The thing is, the optics, just the optics of, of Border Patrol agents kicking out criminals is great. The
Yes.
optics of Border Patrol agents kicking out some illegals or maybe on welfare, stuff like that, it's got some gray area, but it'd be fine. But Border Patrol agents kicking out, just basically normal Americans, except they don't, they're not legal, which is bad, but, just kicking out these people that are like, they're not all scientists, but, scientists, people that have jobs, people that are actually working and not sitting around collecting welfare. The optics of that are so bad, it probably, destroy the GOP party in
It would
2018.
not destroy the GOP party. You know how many people actually support this? There's a lot of people.
A lot of people support it. It's like
There are a lot of
overwhelming.
people support taking out the DACA people.
No,
There's like,
you look at the polls; they are overwhelmingly
50.
supporting of keeping Dreamers and DACA
Yeah.
here, and that's why Trump is compromising, because he's a populist candidate that listens to the country. He listens to his base. Don't get me wrong, but he listens to the whole country. And he's gonna have to compromise, because if he doesn't, he gets nothing. He doesn't get the wall, doesn't get end to chain migration, doesn't get an end to the visa lottery, and you get more illegals in, and it gets worse. And you're losing more than gaining. If you compromise here and you get this deal, you gain in the long run.
Well, no, you won't. You'll end up getting like millions of people to vote for Democrats, and we don't have very many people. who are
Yeah, but that's
coming
not a
in.
basis you should base
Yeah.
this policy on. It doesn't matter who you vote for.
Absolutely. I support keeping the Republican Party alive. You know, why don't we go and get some people,
No,
South Africans?
Most of these dreamers are in sanctuary type cities and stuff like Philly. There's probably a lot there, but Philly's gonna be blue no matter what.
Yeah, you're not changing that.
And like if they remain blue, that's not gonna change Pennsylvania to blue. We're always a flip flop state. But every city that they live in is, I guarantee, is probably already blue. Like, for the most part. Obviously, there's probably some that live in red states or red cities, but
even those states are like border states, like Arizona, Texas. You ain't making that blue. Texas is not going to become blue anytime soon.
I said that about California before they had all the illegal immigration.
Yeah, but California's way
California might
different.
split.
Yeah, now
I
it is.
think so.
They,
Yes,
they already got all this
split
illegal
it.
immigrants. And then, who was that? Who was that
Jerry
one?
Brown?
Who's that president who everyone loved?
Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, guess what he did? He was. This is why I can't. This is why I hate. Like, this is the thing I really do not like about Ronald Reagan. This is like, the reason why I don't idolize him like the rest of the GOP. He caused California. His policy.
That's not
enabled
entirely
California-
true. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to call
he
you
did
out on
three
that.
times. 3
don't-
million people. 3 million people became citizens.
Yeah,
overnight,
but they
who
weren't
all
in
voted for
all.
Democrats.
Yeah, but they weren't all in California, and California
Yeah.
was already going in that direction. That's
Yeah,
what
well,
nobody
like the
cites in
40s
those.
and
If you look at the chart that says like how democratic it's becoming, it doesn't really look like it jumps at all between that time. Someone mentioned that last week, so it was like looking it
Yeah.
up, and I would not blame Ronald Reagan on.
For legalizing, you just kind of taking all these immigrants over from here. We're going to vote, predominantly Democrat. That's how we going to keep America, into a system where Republicans ever have a chance at winning. That's definitely not self-defeating for the Republican Party.
Well, last word from anybody else, and then we gotta close this out because we are already out of time.
No, I'm good.
We're all good. Okay, good. We had a
Eagles.
little debate there. I like that. That was
Go
good.
Eagles.
Yeah, no illegals. I think we all agree. What people don't understand is we agree on the big things.
I said go Eagles.
Oh, go Eagles. Oh.
Oh.
Okay. Yes.
Well,
Everybody's.
no Eagles too.
Yeah, no illegals, but pro Eagles. Like, yeah, I mean, we agree on the big things here. But yeah, Super Bowl's tomorrow night I think starts at 6. Hopefully the commercials are actually decent this year. I hope they are, 'cause those are always entertaining. But Eagles, I think it's gonna be a Trump upset. I'm just putting that out there. I'm not gonna bet any money on. I mean, I probably
bet
would.
money on it.
Well, was Trump in?
What was that?
I think it was a Trump upset.
Well,
I said it's gonna be a Trump upset style, where like everybody thinks the Patriots are gonna win.
Like Trump put some money into those groups.
Yeah, Trump's putting down
gonna be
money.
playing for the Eagles.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll see if the Patriots go and deflate balls again. I don't know how they got away with that, but
The Cheatriots.
it's almost like Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, Trump's saying the analogy is very true. Look, you have the team that cheats and that's supposed to win, that all the polls say are going to win, but then you got these Eagles, they're the underdogs, they're fighting for the city of love and freedom. I think the Eagles are going to win. I'm just saying. It will be interesting to watch.
I
but
hope so. Yeah, I don't
I
like
love
to
them to
talk.
win.
I'm not going to be talking trash and stuff, but
yes, you will. You know you want to.
I do want to, but that's how I jinx stuff. So.
That's true.
But I'm rooting for the Eagles all the way.
Yeah, so fly, Eagles, fly.
Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with more real news.